All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and to the Achiams who are out there pushing this truth for the edification of the body and for the building of the church. To you I salute. I want to do a brief lesson on salvation. Okay? Salvation is deliverance from harm, ruin, or loss, deliverance from enemies, from the enemies, okay? And we do have enemies, of course. Oh yeah, we do. Let's go. Deuteronomy 28 and 68 can attest to this, will let us know of this, okay? Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And it states, and the Lord should bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you should be sold to your enemies, okay? Not your friends, okay? Not your cousins or your brothers, to your enemies, for born men and born women, and no man shall buy you, okay? So this is Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and it's identifying that the children of Israel have enemies, okay? And it's obvious that we have enemies as a result of all the hell we go through, okay, from day to day. However, it is unknown to Israel, okay? For Israel think that this is, especially most Israelites, they think, hey, this is the way, all right? And they, even though they're catching hell, they don't mind, because, hey, they love to party and good time. And as long as they can do that, all right, they don't mind the hell that they go through, all right? Our next precept is Baruch chapter 3 and 8. Baruch chapter 3 and 8. And it states, Salakia, Baruch 3 and 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payment, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, all the sins of our fathers, because they have departed from the Lord. They have departed from the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they have gone after the God of Esau, Christianity. Okay? So this is why we are subjected to payment, okay, through slavery, through captivity. And Baruch say, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. Israel is scattered to the four corners of the earth, okay, serving the nations of the world. All right? And Psalm 83 can give us more understanding of that. Psalm 83. If you go to Psalm 83, and it states, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies, hear that again, lo, thine enemies. So these are the enemies of God and the enemies of Israel, because Israel are the servants and children of the Most High God. Okay, so if they are God's enemy, they are our and Israel enemy, and if they are Israel enemies, they are God's enemy. Okay, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their heads. Okay, so these are the enemies of the Most High God and Israel. And let me go on to verse 5. I'm going to go to verse 5, and it's going to tell you who these enemies are. Okay, I'm going to start from 4. They said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay, so their objective is to cut off Israel from being a nation. And that has happened because we don't know who we are. All right? For they have consulted together with one consent against thee, the tabernacle of Edom, the Edomites, and the Ishmaelites, okay? Moab, Hagarenes, Gebal, and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistine, with the inhabitants of Tyre, Asher. Okay, all of these nations that I just mentioned are the enemies of Israel and the enemies of God. Okay? So you all take your time and don't be too party-hardy in this captivity. Okay? Hold not thy peace, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult. Okay? The next precept is, okay, salvation is for the nation that are held captive. Salvation is for the nation that is held captive. Okay? How can you be saved and you, okay, are not in captivity? Okay? How can you be given salvation? All right? Salvations are for those who are in captivity. The next precept is 13 and 26. Salakia. 26. And then, Salakia, hold on. Okay, that's 14. 13 and 26. Okay, men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, and whosoever among you feareth God, okay, to you is the word of salvation sent. Okay, beautiful precept. To you is the word of salvation sent. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, okay, and of whosoever among you that feared God, to you is the word of salvation sent. Okay, so salvation is sent to the seed of Abraham, and you know Abraham had, okay, Abraham had Isaac his son, and Isaac had Jacob and Esau. Okay, and we came out of the bloodline of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. All right, so salvation is for the nation of Israel. The next precept is John 4, Salakia, and 22. John 4 and 22. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jew. Okay? Salvation is of the Jew. And Jew is short for the tribe of Judah. Okay? One of the 12 tribes. All right? Salvation is for the elect of Israel. All right? Romans 9 and 3. Romans 9 and 3 is the next precept. Salakia. I have, for I could wish that myself, okay, were accursed, okay, from a Mashiach. So, okay, hold on, let me get the Romans 9 and 3. Okay, for I could wish that myself were accursed from a Mashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, verse 4, who are Israelite, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenant, and the giving of the law, and the servants of Yahweh, and the promise. Okay, the promise is salvation. All right, salvation for the nation of Israel. All right, he said, I wish that myself could be accursed from a Mashiach, for my brethren and kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelite, to whom pertaineth the adoption and salvation, okay, and the promise. All right, salvation is for the Israelites only. Okay, the next precept is Luke chapter 1, verse 68, one of my favorite. Luke 1 and 68. Okay, I'm going to read 68 through 71. All right, 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people, and had raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Okay, which as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophet, which has been since the world began, that we shall be saved from our enemies and the hands of those who hate it. He said, blessed be the Lord God of Israel. Okay? That we shall be saved from our enemies. Who are the enemies? The Edomites, the Hagarians, the Ishmaelites, okay, Ammon, Moab, all those nations I called off earlier. All right? To perform the mercies promised to our fathers and to remember his covenant, his holy covenant. Okay? So this is what salvation is all about, and it is too. Okay? Next precept is Isaiah 45 and 17. Isaiah 45 and 17. Bear with me. Salakia. But Israel should be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. Okay, so Israel is the world without end. Okay, and Israel should be saved with an everlasting salvation. Okay, we ain't got nothing to be ashamed about. We going through all kind of hell, catching all kind of hell, but we ain't got to be ashamed or fearful. Okay, because salvation is unto us. All right, but curse. All right. The next precept is Deuteronomy 16 and 17. Deuteronomy 16 and 17. Every man shall give as he is able according to the blessing of Yahweh, okay, thy power, which he had given thee. Okay? Salakia, that's 10 and 17. Salakia, I know. It didn't sound right. Sometimes my handwriting, I learned to write too well yet. I never was had a good handwriting. All right, 10. Okay. For the Lord thy power is a God of gods and the Lord of lords, a great God, a great and mighty and terrible God, which regardeth not person, nor take it reward. He don't take reward. All right? So he ain't taking no reward when he come to redeem us or save us. Okay, the Most High is no respecter of person. Okay? Young or old. All right? He take no bribe. And no person, he said, a gift destroys the heart. All right? The next precept we're going to go into, we're going to go off a bit. The Judith 5 and 20, Salakia. Five and 21. Okay, let me start from verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that thou shalt be, okay, that this shall be to their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in that nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power be for them. Okay? And we became a reproach and to all the world. And this is what's going to become the state of all these nations that have us in captivity. They're going to become a reproach to all the world. Okay? If there be no stain in us. Okay? So if we return and serve our God, okay, and keep his law and walk in his ways, all right, let those nations pass us by, because the Most High is going to make them a reproach. Okay? The next precept is, okay, the next precept we're going to go into is last precept, Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1 and 2. Okay? Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1 and 2. All right? Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as afflicted him, okay, and made no account of his labors. Who afflicted us and made no account of our labors? Who has us in captivity right now? Okay, who is the most ruthless and evil, okay, and king or ruler today? Donald J. Trump. Have us, the children of Israel, and right now he's putting the armies against the nation of Israel. Okay, not only have he kept us in cruel, okay, in captivity, okay, but now he's turning his armies on us. He's using the armies against us, okay, to cause us to go off, all right, to become a rebellion and whatnot, to make us enemies of the state, all right, so they can wipe us out, so they can kill us. But the Most High have another plan, okay? The Most High have another plan, all right? Verse 2, when they see it, they shall be troubled with fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. Okay, so far beyond all they look for, okay? So they shall be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation when they see all of those chariots, okay, hovered overhead, and we being taken up. They're going to be amazed, and they're going to be fear and shitting up in their pants. They're going to be afraid, okay? They're going to be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation, okay? And the salvation is for the elect of Israel, okay? Because he said, though my people be as the sand of the seashore, only a remnant should be saved. 1/3, okay, 2/3 should be cut off and die with the enemies, with those enemies who they give regard to, who they served, okay, wholeheartedly, all right, worshiping their gods, okay, worshiping white man Jesus, Buddha and Allah, all right. Salvation won't be for them, not for those set of people, okay, not for those 2/3, but for the elect of Israel. I hope this lesson was edifying and it served its purpose. Shalom.